Alright guys, Scrappy here, and I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. So much reaction to OpTic's shock decision to get rid of Kenny going into their own major in Dallas in a couple of days' time. Skyz is coming in, we're pretty sure that that's not been officially confirmed yet, but lots of reaction from Dashy and also from Drazah on what they make of this decision over the last couple of days or so. How did it come to this, especially with such an interesting bit of timing? Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. What next for Kenny as well is still a big discussion point of the day. BenJ and the Seams vlog is apparently on the way. We'll see if that goes anywhere when the weekend actually concludes. Quickly on the Falcons, there's been lots of talk about them. We actually mentioned them in last night's video because there have been rumours that, especially with what happened with Luty and maybe Clay becoming the full-time head coach, maybe they're looking at a serious blow-it-up bowl after the major. Now, they did this tweet just with XNID, so there was a bit of conversation as to whether the plan could be keep XNID, maybe try and get kicks back from Saudi if that's possible. We don't really know right now, unfortunately. And then whatever happens after that in terms of whether they're looking to make a change. This was kind of crazy, by the way, when Brad Sats did this tweet saying that, you know, Major 2 will be the first tournament the Skyz is going to miss for several years. Turns out, of course, he's not missing the tournament because Kenny is gone and Skyz is coming in if you missed the news yesterday. Again, this was an inevitable move, and I feel like there's lots of, well, you get reaction from the players and, of course, you know, let's say his peers, who are now saying, oh, Kenny, great player, world champion, and all this, but it's like, during the last few weeks, everyone's been slamming him, right? So it goes both ways. Kenny can both have very much struggled lately and not been playing anywhere near well enough to deserve to keep the CDL spots. I think even Kenny would agree with that. He kind of implied that in his tweet yesterday that he knew this was coming with the way that he was playing. The fact that he was playing this badly is still very confusing, right, for a player of his caliber and all the success that he's achieved, but it can equally be true that he can be a phenomenal player, teammate, champion, and winner, frankly, but also was playing horrifically as of late, and to such an extent that I think OpTic tried to give him a lot of leeway, right? Like, they tried to hope maybe that he would turn it around. Maybe they gave him too much leeway. It's, you know, matter for debate, because by the time they actually are now changing their roster, it's arguably too late for Skyz and the team to have enough practice and to really have enough impact to actually make a big difference in the major. But we'll see. There's been lots of talk as well about, like, whether this was the moment where Kenny got dropped, in a sense that, like, you know, they were trying to give him a lot of leeway. He drops the .3 against the Thieves. And, you know, then Hex gets on the phone, basically, and makes the thing happen. Who knows if that's actually exactly how it went down, but we know full well that OpTic decided at some point over the last few days to make a change, because otherwise they probably would have made a change the weekend before, where they very much could have done and would have at least had a couple of matches practice, presumably with Skyz in the roster. Whether there was something involved in terms of Skyz becoming a free agent from Gentlemates, that's something to consider, but I don't really imagine that was that relevant. I think that, you know, they just made the decision to drop Kenny when they did, and it's at an interesting time. In the long run, is it the right call? It's, you know, difficult to say. I think certainly right now it makes the most sense, and this is exactly the decision that I think I would have made. It would have been painful, but I think that's what they had to do. Of course, they could have considered a two-man change as well. We'll see what happens at the major. But the thing is, at the major now, if they go in and they lose one series, let's say they lose to FaZe, if FaZe get upset by Rocker, very unlikely. But let's say OpTic turn up and they play one series, they lose to FaZe, what did they really learn? So you know, OpTic will be hoping to learn a lot about their new team here, because, you know, whether their team, as it will stand with Skyz on the roster instead, is actually going to be good enough. I think in the long term, I've had my concerns about whether getting rid of Kenny from, like, you know, mentality, from a leadership, from a winning perspective, was the right call. Obviously, in this case, there's really nothing else that can be done. You know, he was playing so poorly that there was, you know, no intangibles were going to save that. But equally, in the long run, whether OpTic will pay for this on some level, I'm not so sure, but intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Kenny, of course, made his tweet yesterday. Formal was in the replies. I mean, this got 28,000 likes on Twitter. It was nice people showing Kenny some support, because obviously he's done a lot for that organisation, but was playing really badly lately, and he admitted himself, and even JP said that, you know, from a mental perspective, Kenny's not been in the best spot. Maybe there's been other things going on that have affected his play. That would make sense, given the levels that he's been at recently, and as Formal says, head up, this ain't the end, you will be back. So I hope Kenny will be back. Where and when is another question. I thought this tweet was interesting from the CEO of OpTic, of course, Mr. Drazah, who, you know, made the call, presumably, right, as the CEO. But no, I mean, he was talking about how crazy, how fast people forget. Now, I thought this is an interesting comment, really, because who exactly is he talking to here? Like, is he talking to OpTic, or is he talking to the fans of the scene in general? And I'm not really sure, because if Drazah's saying it's crazy how fast people forget, I don't think he's necessarily wrong. I think there's been lots of talk in the last month about how this stint from Kenny was, you know, affecting his legacy and everything. I don't really think it massively matters. Like, what Kenny's achieved over the last 7-8 years of competitive Call of Duty still puts him as one of the greatest players ever, regardless of what's happened over the last month or so. But, look, still it's relevant, obviously, his recent performance. Drazah says that people are forgetting what Kenny is and was. That's certainly the implication anyway of this tweet. But it's like, have OpTic made the wrong decision here? Like, no, I don't think so. It's just the timing is maybe somewhat interesting. You know, whether they could have done it a couple of weeks ago or a couple of weeks from now or after the major, that could have been a possibility. Or is Drazah talking about the fans and saying that, oh, you know, people are discrediting Kenny and saying, oh, this guy should just retire? And obviously that's not the case as far as I'm aware, and I don't think Drazah feels the same way either. Of course, a long history with Kenny as a duo. So thought that was an interesting comment from Drazah, really. And as Dashy says, one of the best teammates I've ever played with and an even better friend. I know you'll be back to where you want to be soon. Bro is him, he says. So I thought a really nice, classy comment here from Dashy, and just nice to hear, because everyone who's played with Kenny has, you know, good things to say about him in terms of his, you know, winning mentality and his leadership, and, you know, obviously from a friendship perspective as well. Dashy and Kenny, they even got along well back in MW19 when Kenny kind of got Dashy dropped. I wouldn't say he got Dashy dropped, but, you know, Kenny stayed and Dashy went on that MW19 OpTic Gaming Los Angeles team. This time it's now the other way around, and they were good friends then, but they didn't get along in the game. Now they did. They, of course, achieved everything that they wanted to achieve last year. But Skyz, he turned the stream on last night. And of course, you know, excellent timing from him as always. Honestly, when he turned the stream on, I thought they were maybe going to be announcing it very shortly afterwards, but they haven't made that official as of yet. And yeah, Skyz instantly had plenty of viewers in, and he had, you know, hundreds and hundreds of gifted subs flying in. He didn't mention anything. He made sure that he was very clear that he wasn't going to talk about any of the rumours and the developments of the day, but I think we're 99% sure that's exactly what's going to be happening. A couple of clips I wanted to share for you guys here. So Prid was talking about this on stream last night. He turned the stream on as well, and, you know, like, he was going to address it. He wasn't going to address the Skyz rumours and the changes they may make, but you know, he did want to address the decision to make the roster change, because obviously it's been a difficult one, and as I say, I think that OpTic have tried to give the team as much leeway as possible, like Kenny, that as much leeway as possible. I just think that they should have managed the situation probably better. Like, there were moments over the last few weeks they could have tried other things. They could have had Kenny and Pred, like, properly switch roles, at least to give it a go. I mean, and the funny thing is that the first time, really, that we saw Kenny properly run the sub for a single map was, like, the last map he played of his entire stint on OpTic, when finally Pred and Kenny at least gave it a go, switching the roles around. It's not like Kenny looked great on the sub, but Pred looked pretty good on the AR. Maybe it was something that could have helped the team. They did it for, like, one map, when arguably they could have done it for a good couple of weeks. And then after winning that map and winning the series, then Kenny gets dropped. So, you know, it's just difficult, really, from all perspectives. I'm sure there's going to be a lot to learn from the team's perspective as well on how they have handled the last few weeks. But Pred says, yeah, it's sad, but we got to keep grinding. The key thing is to try and get back to winning tournaments. It's difficult exactly to see what road OpTic take to get there. I mean, the talent is still undeniable, but the level of team play and execution that we're seeing right now from FaZe and especially Thieves, it's going to be difficult to stop.
Sad. 100% it's sad, bro. You have a team that achieved so much last year, had a championship, you know, had a fucking championship years, achieved so much, and then fucking, you know, the year goes the way it goes, unfortunate circumstances, just fucking sucks, man. You know, we fucking, you know, fucking sucks, but it is what it is, man. That's just how it is, bro. Sometimes in life shit happens, bro. It is what it is, man. You gotta keep fucking moving forward. You gotta keep moving forward and just look forward, bro. Just try to do whatever you can, the best you can. Like I said, my main priority and like team's main priority is just making sure that we can, you know, be ready for the tournament. Put a fucking show on for you guys. That's obviously what we want to do. Yeah, man. Fucking crazy, bro. Crazy fucking year, man. 2025 has been fucking insane. At the end of the day, chat, it's fucking AIDS. It fucking sucks, but we got a tournament in fucking 2 days or whatever the fuck is. We have a tournament in 3 days. That's our tournament. Like, just fuck, dude. It's like, just need to lock the fuck in, you know. Need to lock in for the tournament. That's like the #1 priority right now. King Lozo the Tune. Just lock in for the tournament. Try and make a fucking run. See what we can do. Use the energy from the fans, and just try and make, good of the scenario. Just try to do it at the tournament. That's like my number one priority. Yeah, I just want to keep my mind on. Yeah, I just want to focus on the tournament. At the end of the day, bro, we achieved something we're gonna remember forever. Something that we're gonna always remember. It's fucking crazy, man.
The question really becomes, how far could they go with Skyz this upcoming weekend? It's obviously a difficult bracket run they have. They play FaZe or Rocker round 1. After that, they play either Toronto, New York, or Gentlemates, depending if Gentlemates can win the losers bracket game. And after that, they probably play Ravens or Surge, the loser of the Thieves series, assuming Thieves beat Boston. That's the theory anyway. So, yeah, intrigued to your thoughts in the comments, because Skyz comes in for Kenny. I think, look, on paper, Skyz should drop more numbers than Kenny. So that should be a positive thing. Like, people were throwing around Skyz's lineman card from the first stage, and it wasn't good, right? I mean, Skyz was not good. Now, the thing is with Skyz, I think he's genuinely bordered on being a pretty underrated player over the last few years. I used to think he was really, really good. I mean, I still think he's good. But, like, in series, let's say seasons like Black Ops 4, on Luminosity Gaming, I thought Skyz was excellent. Of course, the Florida year as well, the year after that, I thought it was really good. And then, of course, he was on the Subliners, won the World Championship, and, impressive player, probably underrated generally in his career in terms of his impact on the AR. But at times, he's kind of got a little bit missing. Certainly, at times last year, and then the start of this year as well, when Skyz is this kind of like slow, methodical AR player that he has tended to be for his teams recently, didn't really deliver much in terms of, impact, let's say, on the map. That will need to change. Skyz, will he be, the de facto leader of the team as well? Will he replace Kenny in that sense? Are they going to kind of spread things around more? I'm not sure. Skyz's comms are pretty good. One of the benefits of bringing in, a kind of more veteran AR in this sense. But it's not like his numbers for the season so far were especially pretty. I mean, yeah, his lineman card wasn't great for the first major, but, 0.97, 0.96, 1.02 is better than a 0.84, 0.89, point whatever, right? So these were Kenny's numbers in the league this year. And even if Skyz has a 0.95 rather than a 0.8 that Kenny was delivering, then it's better, right? I mean, fundamentally, it's at least an upgrade. It's maybe not what you'd want, but it's at least an upgrade. Now, I think that Skyz will likely run the flex on this team. It's possible that Dashy could do it. It's a weird AR duo on paper, right? You look at Skyz and Dashy and you think, oh my god, that's the slowest AR duo OpTic have had since Octane Methods. And I don't think you'd necessarily be wrong, but can Skyz and Dashy play faster if they need to? Yes, Dashy could, but I think he's pretty happy maybe with the role that he currently plays. I think it's probably Skyz who has to maybe step up and increase the pace, and if he does, I think he will have a better lineman card and look significantly more impactful for the roster. Is it going to make enough difference? I think that's the question. And my concern is with OpTic making this change now, as obviously Octane mentioned as well, the timing of making this decision at this present moment, is that they might not be able to learn enough. A couple of days ago, when OpTic was still massively struggling before they'd beaten Gentlemate, I think, there was a feeling for many that if OpTic aren't going to blow it up after the major, which it seemed inevitable that they would have to, a two-man change might be likely. As talented as Pred is, his actual impact on the server and the plays that he's made, I don't think have been as strong over the last, stint really, since he's actually come back. And you can't easily escape from the reality that the team with Hook was frying at times. I mean, not at the major, but they at least won series online and got as the number 1 seeds. Since Pred's come back, it's been a different story, right? So, if the OpTic don't deliver at the major, Pred will still be under pressure because Shotzzy isn't going anywhere. I don't think Dashy should be going anywhere. And if it doesn't work out with Skyz, then what are you going to do? Drop Skyz and pick up Fellow? Probably not. You're going to look at some of the other options, which may involve the Pred situation. The difficult thing is that having not had this last weekend of matches against the 2 LA teams to judge the new roster, you go into a major where you may play 1-2 series with not much practice, and then it's kind of difficult to get a feel for how good this new team actually can be with Skyz. But yeah, we'll see. Pred and obviously Skyz were live last night. Maybe they got a good day of scrims in, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of days. Of course, Kenny, well, I'm sure we'll be looking at his next options as well. So there's a little bit of talk about where that could be. I honestly do think that Kenny to the Falcons, if and when they do try and build a roster which is capable of winning championships, it's something not entirely to dismiss, but very much interested to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.